Hello folks, hope you're all keeping well. Desperado Van Adventures back again with another video. Now this time I'm up in Culdaff in Inishowen Donegal. I was up here before Easter and the weather was absolutely brilliant, and then as you know Easter came along and the rain came along with it. So I'm sitting here on Easter Monday narrating this video. So this is a stopover. You can see my van sitting down there on the left hand side, and you can just about see me controlling the drone starting at the front of the van. So this is the river, the Culdaff River, the same name as the town, and that's the town up in there in the distance, them white buildings. I think they're actually cottages. So this is a little road down to Stopover. Campervan's caravan park. It's not very often that there's a sign to tell you where to park. Usually there's no sign, or there's a sign to say not to park. So we're heading up the little road onto the main road. Now if you turn right, that'll take you into the village. If you turn left, it'll take you to another car park and then along to a headland. That's the football pitch on the left hand side we're just passing. So you go up the end of this road, there's a plaque on the wall, and it says on it, Flight Lieutenant Whittaker made an emergency landing here in his Seafair Mark, I think that's 17, Axe V11. Axe is a 10, V is a 5, and then you have 2 1s, so a Seafair Mark 17 on the 2nd of April 1949. So there you go. There's a man landed on a wall. Anyway, right, back onto the bone shaker, trigger the bone shaker, and we're heading up to another little car park that you actually seen at the start of the video on the drone footage. Now I think this car park's actually used more for swimmers, beachgoers. The other one down there is better for walking your dog because there's sand dunes, little lanes through the sand dunes and along the river. So I think this, as I say, is more for swimmers, people very close to the beach. So this little trailer here, it's not a hot food bar. What it actually is a mobile sauna. So what they do is they turn that trailer around facing the sea, and when they've all that, them steps and stuff drop down, there's a window there and you can sit and look over the sea while you sweat it out in the sauna. What a good idea. Now this here, 3 signs, and I think really it's just telling you there's a shaded area on the shoreline there. I think it's telling you about tides, stuff like that. I did see a couple of gullies down in the sand, so maybe it's a bit dodgy in some of the places to swim, but I didn't read that, so if you're there, have a wee check on that before you start swimming. That other sign was just telling you to park down at the football field where I'm parked. So back on trigger again and up the road, and I did stop here because there's nice views over a little section of the beach, and that's it there. It's one big long beach, but it's divided by rocks. There's rocks in 2 or 3 places along the beach, so it makes maybe 3 little secluded beaches. You know, this time of year not a big lot on the beach, and I think it was the middle of the week that I took these photographs and video clips. So we're heading towards that headland. You can see it in this clip as well. On the right hand side there's a static caravan side, and I think that's maybe for visitors going into the caravan side, that little car park. So you can go along here, and if you turn to the right, it takes you up round the back of that headland. I think there's a lighthouse up in there somewhere. You could do a bit of exploring if you do come here, Next time I'm up, I'll maybe go up there and see what's about. So anyway, I went down this little lane, and there's a nice bench seat down here. So I sat and drank a tin of Pepsi, and in the sun. It was absolutely brilliant day, and that's Trigger the Bone Shaker. An old mate of mine takes me everywhere. Right, so I went back to the Stopover for a cup of tea, and then I come back up the little road again and turned right. This time we're heading towards the town, the village I should say. It's not really a town. There's not a big lot in the village. All I really seen was a little grocery shop and 2 or 3 pubs. But there is a nice little village green in the village where you can sit. There's bench seats and a little sheltered area as well. So you'll see it coming up here when I eventually get up into the town. As I said in the description at the start, I think you could walk up into the town in about 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. So this is coming into the town now, and I just park up at the wall. That's the village green, and you can see the little shelter there. And we just passed a litter bin. That's the first one I've seen. There's not many litter bins in Ireland, and strangely enough, there's no litter lying about the streets or the roads or down at the beach. Anyway, that's the village green. Nice little village green. So there is a board. This is it here, and it tells you all about famous people that lived here, history, blah blah blah. And I've took photographs of different sections of it if you want to have a read. So you can pause the video and read all about it there if you're interested in that sort of thing. And I'll shut up for a couple of minutes. Right, well that's me back again. We're heading up the street and we're going to turn right towards the pier. There's a little harbour down there. There's McGuinness's bar. Seems to be a microphone sitting at the window. Somebody must have been busking. I think it's a microphone. On up there's a couple of bars there on the right, and there's a bar across the road. I think the grocery shop's just over on the left. Just up a bit from that bar with the microphone. So this is we're turning right here to go to the pier. Now these signs here, if you're in Ireland and you see these signs, what it means is it's the Wild Atlantic Way, and it tells you obviously if you're going south or north. A few years ago I didn't know what they were. What does that sign mean, but I found that out. So somebody's turned that sign round, Culdaff. That's back the way we came, but the other sign's pointing down here to the pier, to the little harbour. It would be quite a walk from the Stopover up into the town and then down to the harbour, but I think almost certain you can walk along the beach and get to the harbour. So as you can see, that's very close to the harbour now. a lot of fishing boats sitting about, and there is a very old boat sitting on the sand at the pier. You'll see it down here. That's it there. I see it's tied up, so maybe when the tide comes in, it does float. I'm not sure. It does need a coat of paint. A lot of rust on it. Well, that's it, folks, for now. And I'll see you in the next one. So bye for now. Thanks for watching.